Hello, my little protons. Welcome back, Positively Carly. So I'll just want to get a couple things out of the way. Yes, I'm going blonde. It's a process. Let's not make a big deal of it. This is kind of what happens when you turn 40, you get a little crazy, and you decide to just let it all ride. Well, why not? It's only hair, and you're only here for a limited amount of time anyway. So enjoy your life. Do what you want. Color your hair, whatever color you want. Rainbow, mermaid colors, blonde, red. Sky's the limit. Pardon my son. He is watching something on the internet and he's making some noise, but it's all good. Okay, so I wanted to talk about my personal experience with birth control, Mirena. So what Mirena is, it's an IUD, which means it's the IUD stands for intrauterine device. And what that is that they insert this tiny little thing that looks like a Y almost, or a T, a YT situation. Anyway, they insert it into your uterus and they connect it to the fallopian tubes, and that right there is your birth control. Now, the Mirena comes in different types of hormone level. Like I believe you can get like one with hormones and one without hormones. I unfortunately need one with low estrogen. I need one with higher estrogen because I produce too much progesterone. So I need one with a higher amount of estrogen. So my Mirena is has hormones, but they're on a time release, so they don't make you as quote unquote crazy. And it actually has done a really good job about kind of evening out my my emotion. I don't know if emotions is the word I'm going to go with, but it does a good job with kind of evening all your hormones out, especially me. Because my situation is I only have the one ovary because when I was 28 years old, I got ovarian cancer and I lost an ovary. I mean, okay, that sounds terrible. I didn't actually lose it. It was surgically removed. So I know where, it went, but here's my story. So my situation is that the Mirena I have now, this is actually my second round being on the Mirena. So I actually had a Mirena put in 2010. I had it taken out 2015. And then I had another one done the same day when I had it taken out. And here are some things that people don't always tell you. Like I have a ton of friends that, ask me questions about it all the time because I'm one of the few people they know that actually has one. And my situation, bear this in mind, my situation is not going to be your situation. Everybody's different. Everybody is going to be different and they're going to have a different experience. So this was my experience. And I can actually safely say that this happened to me both times that I had the Mirena first put in. The cramps the day after, don't go to work. Honestly, if you think you can handle the cramps, even if you think you can, just don't go to work. Don't do it. I was actually very smart the first time I got it done. I got it done the day before we were to be on staycation. And I even said to my husband, I can't guarantee I'm going to be in the best shape to do stuff. So can we just kind of have that second day be kind of a rest day for me? If I feel up to it, we'll go like out and do some shopping and stuff, but I don't know if I'm going to be up for it. He was completely cool with that. He's like, yeah, that's totally fine. Okay, so the day after you get your Mirena, they say you're going to experience cramps. And this is true. You will experience cramps to the level of intensity that you have never known before in your life. And that's not just me. This has happened to two of my friends that have gotten a Mirena as well. They said the second day, the day after they get the Mirena inserted, it's just like crampapalooza. It suck diddly yucks. So just be prepared for that. Be comfortable. Lay on a heating pad, take Advil, just make yourself as comfortable as possible because you will not be a happy person. That's just the situation it is. So know that going into it. You do bleed for a good, I'm not even going to sugarcoat this part for anybody. When I first got the one first put in 2010, I probably bled every month for like 2 or 3 days. However, in between those 2 or 3 days, I would spot at least once to twice a week, and it would only be for like I can't even say it was for an entire day. It would only be for like an hour or two, but it would happen pretty consistently throughout the week. And here's the thing about that. That bleeding lasted about 3 months, which I wasn't prepared for. I really wasn't. I wasn't prepared for any of that. So, be that as it may, or be what that is, it's also, again, it was a side effect. You know, as long as you have a really good gynecologist, they should be going through every single situation that's going to come up with getting an IUD done. And this is one of the things. You can have spotting anywhere from 3 to 6 months. My spotting the first time around lasted about 3 months. However, my second IUD I got, it lasted a good 6. So it took about 6 months for all of that to dissipate. And the truth of the matter is that it's not honestly that big of a deal, because it's so minor in the scope of what you need it for. Like, especially in my case being that, you know, I couldn't my body just wouldn't regulate. It just would not do it. And now I've gotten to a point where I experience a lot of premenstrual syndrome. However, it's like I can safely say this. Being on the Mirena has given me worse cramps than I did when I wasn't on birth control. However, the cramping is tough to the point that I know as soon as I start that cramp, that means I'm getting ready to have some bleeding. But here's the thing, is that and this has happened for the last, 7 years that I've been, 8 years, it'll be 8 years this July that I've been on this particular type of birth control, is that when I experience that cramp, that means I have up to 5 to 10 minutes to get some sort of situation happening, like prepare myself for it. And I will say this, is that that's probably the only time in my life that it has ever worked out for me that way. Like before, when you would have menstrual cramps, you just be like, oh God, I just have cramps and they suck. But with this particular kind of cramping, and this is just me, this isn't anybody else that has been on the Mirena, my experience is not your experience, is that I get this cramp and then I'm like, oh, I have about 5 minutes before I need to, get a tampon, get a pad, or what have you, kind of take care of the situation. But it is a good warning sign. And it does kind of help. It really does help you figure out what's going on. Now, I will say this, like, prior to getting your monthly present from Mother Nature, the premenstrual syndrome is tough to detect, because especially for me, my emotions aren't as, quote unquote, and I'm going to do air quotes, they're not as crazy. Like, my hormones don't make me as crazy as they used to when I was on different birth control, or when I wasn't on any. Like before, I would be completely crazy. My husband and I would get in like knockdown, drag out fights. And now it's funny. From being on this, my husband, God bless him, so sweet to me, he can actually pinpoint when I'm getting ready to start my period, because I start eating everything in sight. I'll complain, but the thing is like I start complaining about being hungry, because I just can't get enough. It's like and I always crave like the same things. It's like I want carbs and I want meat. So I just want to eat a cheeseburger the entire time. So, and my husband and I don't eat red meat. So when I crave a cheeseburger, he's all like, I guess you're getting ready to start your Aunt Flo soon, huh? I'm like, that is probably true. And he's probably right. So there's that. Another point I wanted to make, that the actual period that I experience after that first like 3 to 6 months of like constant spotting, my period is not heavy at all, and it maybe lasts maybe 3 or 4 days, possibly. I think the longest it's ever lasted is 4 days max in the very beginning, but it's so light. That's the thing. That's the other thing, is that it's incredibly light. And I've stopped purchasing tampons because it's such a waste. I don't need them. I don't go through them as much as I used to. So I have been able to get away with just basically just like the light day panty liners. And I'm a big girl, so I kind of have to get the long ones just because, you know, God gave me a lot to work with. So there's that. I will say this too, is that, and this is what my doctor told me last time I got my second one put in, is that after this particular round, because by the time I get this one taken out, I'm going to be 44. Wait. I might be 43. Wait. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I'll be like 44. So I'll be 44 when I get this second round taken out. And at that point, we have to have a serious discussion about what it is we're going to do. I don't know what that means. That could mean anything from her possibly thinking it might be time to do a complete hysterectomy, or we go back to the drawing board as far as putting me on different kinds of birth control. Because my situation is I'm not in any position anymore where I could have children anyway. So by the time I turn 44, that option is, you know, no longer viable for me. So we have to come up with a different strategy. And it could be that I may have to do some sort of surgical situation, or I may even wind up just going on the pill again. But we have to figure out what's going to be the best route for me. Truth be told, I like the Mirena for a lot of reasons. Number one, I never have to think about it. Number two, I have had, like, all those horror stories you hear about it, I've never had it. I've never had an issue with it. I will say this, the caveat to that is that when I'm having, because you still do have those really bad months of when your period is just real awful and it feels bad. I don't know what happens, but there are times where I can feel it kind of flutter inside of my uterus. That's uncomfortable, but it's not as bad, you know, compared to what the actuality of that cramp could be or what that situation could be. It's really not that horrible. But I do implore you that if this is an avenue that you want to take, definitely bring it up to your doctor. Definitely do your own research. Talk to people that have had it done. Again, and if you want to leave questions or comments for me, I'm happy to answer them. It's totally fine. I think that it's incredibly important as a woman to take your health very seriously, especially your reproductive health very seriously, because I still don't know how this happened, but I'm incredibly blessed. I have been 11 years? No, I've been 12 years cancer-free, knock on wood, and it's all been because of early detection. I've said this before in other videos. If you are a highly sensitive person, don't disregard that by any means. Like, if you don't feel comfortable, you need to tell your doctor, and that's completely and totally fine. You know, I do work in healthcare, so there are a lot of situations where patients tend, like, I'm not gonna lie, there are situations where patients tend to make it seem worse than it actually is. However, when it comes to your reproductive health and your own birth control, your health as a woman is incredibly important. So do not take that for granted. If you feel like something is wrong, if you feel like the birth control you're currently on is not working for you, it just makes you feel unwell, you have every right in the world to get off of it. You have every right in the world to find a doctor that's going to be on your team. That's going to be, team you, help you figure out the best opportunity, the best situation for yourself. You have every right in the world to find that for yourself. Don't take, and again, I've always been a big believer in this, don't take what any doctor, says to you at face value. Do your own research, get a second opinion. You can totally do that. That's completely up to you. Okay. I think that's all I wanted to share today, but I did want to make this video because I've had a couple of people in my life come to me with just questions, and I thought, well, now is a really, I've had this experience. It's a good experience to share. And again, if any of you have a question regarding the Mirena, again, my experience is not your experience, but I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. I love to educate. Okay, that is all I have for today. I know it's been a while since I posted, but, life gets in the way. What can I tell you? Anyway, take care of yourselves. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out. Love yourselves. Love each other.